So you didn't get the agenda.
I'm sorry, Alan?
Doc, you didn't get the agenda for tonight?
No. Well, I got the agenda, but about an hour ago.
Okay.
But I knew about, I knew previously about our tabling of 66, Cat Pasture Beach, and then the other one was 108 Water Street. And the new one that I got just today, as from Mr. Hiltz, was 12 Seabreeze Place, but we won't be able to do that tonight. I obviously want to hold that up for next month.
Yep.
Oh boy. Well, I guess I don't have the listing here of the additional applications, but
Do you have the applications?
I don't.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't.
They're all hyperlinked on the agenda, so you can pull up the application webpage.
Okay. See, how do we do this here?
Let me call the meeting to order. We do have a quorum. So we'll call the meeting at 6:15 p.m. We have 5 commissioners present. So the roll call, Matt Gifford.
Present.
I know Lori Jones is not here. Alan Kibbe is present. Jeff Mangles.
Here.
Chris McDonald is not present. Mike Matthews.
Present.
Dr. Pinto.
Present.
Chris White. Absent, we know. And Don Remsen.
Here.
Thanks, Don. You're not last because of your importance. You're last because you're the newest or the freshest. So welcome. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag
of
of the United States of America,
And to the
to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
with
with
liberty.
liberty and justice for all.
As you were. We have public participation. Amelia, do we have anybody their hand up?
If anybody would like to make a public comment, please use the raise your hand feature at the bottom of the screen. And if you're making a comment, please state your name, your address, and which agenda item you are commenting on. I see no hands, so it looks like we do not have any public comment via Zoom tonight.
Very good. In her absence, Lori has asked me to do the acceptance of the minutes. Amelia, can you put the minutes up?
Yes, there was only suggested changes to one section, so that's what you're seeing on the screen. The red is the proposed language. Otherwise, everything is the same as the initial draft.
Right. This is some later changes. Has everybody seen these changes?
Yes.
Yes.
So I don't need to read them. Would anybody like time to read them? All right. Is there a motion to accept the minutes of this meeting?
Make that motion.
Second.
Second?
No.
Any discussion? Does anybody have any comment? I'll call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are accepted. Lori also asked me to make her plans and recommendations report on the harbor management plan updates and such. She just wanted me to say that Bruce Lavallo and Jeff Mangles are currently reviewing for updates. And of course, we were waiting on the outcome of the issue with DEEP regarding the authority of the harbor management commissions. That's the what Jeff has been working on up in Hartford or Saybrook or wherever that is. Dredging. I'm talking with the Army Corps of Engineers about dredging and also just gathering information and process information for us for the commission, because we don't seem to have any good records or procedural information, so they're being very helpful to me with that. So that's Lori's report with the minutes. Dr. Pinto, Application Review Committee.
Well, I'm going to rely on the people who are here presenting that. We have, let me see if I can find this here. Here we are. Yeah,
Dr. Pinto, I sent you a link to where you can find those.
I have that up here. Amelia had sent me that.
Okay.
But the application then is from Mr. Hiltz. The first one was 66 Cap Pasture Beach Road. And I guess that was being tabled again for next month. Is that
That's correct. John Hiltz doesn't have any further information on that yet.
all right? So the next item I have on the agenda, we can obviously hold it up for next month. Because there was certainly additional information with regarding to the positioning of the breakwater and information that we needed with regard to wave action and wind action with the presence of that breakwater and bulkhead there with regard to what's going to happen as far as on wind and wave action on the land. The next application that I have, and I guess Mr. Blank is the agent for that, was a CAM application at 108 Water Street. And the applicant proposes a mixed-use development, including boat slips, boardwalk, office space, street-level personal service establishments, and apartments, a restaurant, and additional waterfront dependent use. They discussed in that proposal, in that CAM application, how they plan to have not only a residential component to it, but there's also a restaurant component and a few other items, and as well as a marina. I'll have to defer to Mr. Blank to probably walk us through the details of that with regard to water flow, with regard to impervious surfaces, and I think they did mention that, as well as water runoff into the harbor. So,
great. You ready for me?
yes,
Sure.
absolutely.
Okay, so great. Thank you, Dr. Pinter. Thank you, guys. Adam Blank of Wofsy Rosen for Spinnaker Acquisitions, the applicant. They're the contract purchaser. It's a joint venture between Spinnaker and the current longtime owner, the Gersten family. I'm going to give you just maybe a couple of minutes on the project, and then if we can import Seelan Pather, he's in as an attendee as a panelist from Byfield Architects. He's the project architect. He'll kind of overview what the site's going to look like. Vince Hines, if we can import him as well. He's from Redness and Mead, the engineer, and he'll talk about some of the water quality and drainage improvements proposed for the site. And finally, Azure D. Schleicher from Race Coastal Engineering. If you can also import her, Amelia. She's also helping on the project. Additionally, and so they're going to each give you a little bit of a speech. Henry Conroy for the ownership group, as well as Eric Rains, the landscape architect, are on, and they're just here to answer questions that may be directed at them. They're not going to give you a presentation tonight. Let me just. Okay. So this is the current site. Again, 108 Water Street. This was taken within the last month or so. It's about 2.72 acres. It's in the marine commercial zone, obviously on the water side of Water Street in South Norwalk. You heard what we intend to construct, and I just want to maybe the part that I don't think was said is that this, in addition to what I'll call the development, there will be a new boardwalk put in, boat slips, and you'll hear more from the team, but we're hoping for 14, but we don't have deep approval on that yet. So it may be less, but we're sort of asking for as much as we can get from deep as far as boat slips go. The site itself, so this is a color rendering of what's proposed, and you'll notice that there's a whole lot of, in addition to the boardwalk, open space that would be public realm or park-like space open to the public. on the 2.72 acres, about an acre of it will be public realm and open to the public. On the current site, 0 is open to the public. There's no public access at all. And there's no drainage improvements either on the site. So we are creating really a park in South Norwalk on the waterfront. Obviously, we're doing more than that, but that's one significant aspect of that. And again, as I know you've done lots of these, but I just want to take maybe 2 or 3 minutes quickly running through. Obviously, the purpose of us being here tonight is asking for you to hopefully make a determination for consistency with the harbor management plan. And I just show you really quick, we do believe it's consistent with the harbor management plan. We are including a water dependent use, and we have agreed with the planning and zoning staff that we will make sure that it's clear in the labeling on it that it will be what you sometimes refer to as truly a water dependent use between not such a water dependent use, but classified as a water dependent use for a portion of the site. That's in addition to the new boat slips, in addition to the improvement in the water quality based on the improvements you'll hear from Vince Hines in just a minute. We're creating public access to the waterfront, and we're promoting sustainable economic growth on an underutilized site and enhancing public appreciation for Norwalk's coastal resources. Those are all in your management plan. And again, maintain and enhance opportunities for recreational boating and boating related uses. We're going to be creating that with the boat slips. Opportunities for non-boating recreational use of the harbor and the waterfront, right in the plan: walking, bicycling, picnicking, nature observation, land-based fishing, enjoyment of water views, and special public events on the waterfront sites. I think we're going to accomplish all of that with this application. Truly water dependent uses, we're obviously going to have different uses, but we are committed to a truly water dependent use on a portion of the site that Sealand will show where that's going to be located in the new development. Your plan asks for supporting continuing operation of non-boating water dependent facilities and areas, including waterfront, park, and beach areas, which again we're creating. And you'll hear the boardwalk that we're proposing includes a grand staircase, so that the public can literally walk down that staircase directly and touch the water. So there will actually be water access for the public. Impacts of flooding and erosion control. I'm not the expert on that, but you will hear that compared to what's there now, we're going to make it significantly better. We're not going to solve all the issues on Water Street, but we think we can make some improvements, and you'll hear about that. Again, plan and manage use of the harbor and waterfront consistent with the capacity of the harbor and waterfront. Again, we want to put in as many boat slips as will be permitted through DEEP. We're promoting substantial economic growth and community development. We think some of the boat slips, we're going to propose some of them be available for transient boaters, restaurant, public. Some of them will be, reserved boat slips. We also think with this site, we're going to really encourage economic activity, recreational and tourism. And I think the last, and then I'll be done. Again, we're improving existing. There's no existing water access areas for public use. We're creating that. We're creating new water access areas for public enjoyment of the harbor, and we're with the public realm and green space, we think we can hold some harbor related events and providing recreational opportunities there at the site. Of course, none of that exists currently. So we believe, and I don't expect you to agree with me at this point because you haven't heard from the rest of the team yet, but I'm hoping that you by the end of the presentations will think back to those items that we've listed and find that we are in fact compliant with the harbor management plan or consistent with the harbor management plan. With that sort of introduction, absent an immediate question for me, I'd like to turn it over to the architect, Sealand Pather.
Thank you, Adam. I've just shared my screen. Can you see it?
Yep.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Seelan Path. I'm a principal at Beinfeld Architecture. We're a local firm, not very office. I'm sitting right now in our offices, not very far from the site, a few blocks away. So I'll keep my presentation brief. I know that you probably want to hear more about the site from Vince than me, but I'll just go over the big picture concepts that we try to achieve here. Start with this. This is the site. This is what Adam brought up before, and one of the things that struck us when we wanted to create this truly mixed-use development is that we wanted to create a permeability through the site that doesn't exist today. So it's very much private now. Here's our site plan, and this is what we're calling our connectivity plan. It's a truly mixed-use development. It's got residential, 59 residential units. It's got 2 office buildings here and here. You'll see it more in detail when I go through it. It's going to have a restaurant. It's going to have retail type uses at the front and Water Street, and then this water dependent use that we've been speaking about. But we from the beginning worked with the developer to create the idea that the site was permeable and that people could use the waterfront side of it so that it actually activated the entire site. And that was a fundamental concept from the beginning, is that if we had to activate the site from the street to the water for it to be a successful development. So with that, the 2 edges of the site have walkways going all the way from Water Street to the water. Now these are flat. You'll see when we look at the renderings that the actual development will take you up to get above the flood elevation and then back down to the water. But these 2 edges are flat. So you're walking along Water Street, you can literally turn right, or turn, if you're walking down this way, turn left, and walk on a flat surface to get to the fairly flat surface to get to the water. When you get to the edge, this is a boardwalk consistent with the city's goal of having a connected boardwalk. We're doing our part, we think. We're creating a boardwalk that fronts our entire site and hopefully connects in front of the Sono Seafood restaurant right here, and we're still working on that. And what this diagram also shows is this opportunity to widen the path if we can figure that out with this adjacent site, and really have a curated edge here that people could sit along and have different experiences as they get to the water. So that's the 2 edges. I'm going to jump ahead here. I'll come back. That's the 2 edges. But what we see as our grand gesture is this grand set of stairs that come off Water Street here, invite you into the site. Again, anyone, it's a public space, through the site, up, over, and to a raised platform, if you will. And I'll show you that better in the renderings. And again, all accessible by the public. You go into the 2 office buildings if you work there.
It's ADA accessible.
And there's an 80.
Yeah.
Yep, there's an ADA route via an elevator here. And then you can go to the leasing. This is the heart of the project. You go to the leasing offices or to the residential in this area. But someone from the public can literally come up here, come up to this area, and then walk down by the serpentine route to the water. So all of this, we hope, is a very pleasant experience for pedestrians coming up through the site and down to the water. Go back. So this, just to explain, there's a series of, there's 2 parking garages at 2 levels. There's 2 lobbies here that meet the street at street level. You know that's in the flood. That's in the whole of Water Street meets. You have to enter at below flood elevation, but these 2 lobbies take you up above the flood elevation. There's parking at elevation 9, and then now you get to these levels that are above flood at 14. That's no walk regulation, 2 above flood. We are outside the VE zone. That's that blue line here for all of our building. And so we're above the flood elevation of 12. And once you get above that lower level, you have a higher level with a residential amenity That's at one level higher than this roof deck here, and I'll show you that in the renderings. So all in all, a series of elevations with a series of different amenities for different users on the site. And I'm going to jump straight to the renderings, unless you want to go to the plans. I'll go through anything you want to. But this diagram essentially shows residential at the back. Here's Water Street behind the purple. Here's your boardwalk in the front. Here's your office. Here's your office here, and here's this entirely public, I don't want to say park, but landscape area that you go up from elevation 18 all the way down to about elevation 7 at the water. This is what it looks like from Water Street. Here's your grand stair entry here. Here's your flat walkway on either side. Here's that walkway coming down all around. Here's that boardwalk going across, and with the goal, the aspirational goal to connect this to the Soto Seafood and beyond, hopefully at some point. It's one of the few places that you can actually touch hopefully you can actually touch the water in Norwalk. I walk down to Oyster Shell Park most days, and there's one location outside the Maritime Aquarium, and there's another one at the actual park, and this will be another one where you can actually come down from a high elevation from a restaurant here, and there's a water dependent use right here. It has pride of place in front of the docks, and sit here or sit down here and touch the water here. And this is my favorite image, showing that the type of place we're trying to create. Really, we have two office uses, a residential use that spills out, a restaurant use that spills out, and a water dependent use that spills out. We should hopefully create one of the better public spaces in Norwalk, if we get it right, and we intend to. This shows how the site gently slopes up to the high elevations at the back, and then, like I said, there's stairs that take you back down to Water Street on the other side of this. And Adam, I think that's enough for the flavor of it, no? Unless you want me to get into anything else.
I think that works. Just to point out that parking at the lowest level is above street level, so we're not going down, we're going up, even at the lowest level of the parking. And I think then, unless there's more questions for Sealand now, Vince, can you cover the drainage and the site plan a little bit?
Well, Adam, to that point, I just see the note about that. Let me just quickly say this, show this. So yes, here's the grade of Water Street. Here's the water, and you can see we're not going down below those elevations. Everything is built up, so we're going up and over and back down.
Is that above?
Adam, okay, we have a raised hand here. Owen's got his hand raised.
I just
yeah.
want to make a comment about the piece of property, if that's okay.
Yes.
So I've seen a lot of things, and I've seen a lot of renderings, and I've also seen what is transpiring in the news. Unfortunately, for us, that piece of property is the most harbor-dependent piece of property for the city of Norwalk. Not only does it supply us with our fireworks, but it supplies everyone who lives out on our islands a way to get their hazardous material, i.e. gas, out to their pieces of property. And also for us, not just for the Harbor Commission, but for the law enforcement side, it pretty much takes care of all of our destroyed, abandoned, derelict vessels and the largest marine construction that we currently have. And I just wanted to make note of that.
Thank you, Owen.
Vince?
Certainly. Good evening. For the record, Vincent Hines, licensed engineer with Redness and Mead, having offices in Stanford and Wilton. Our office has provided the engineering and surveying services for the project. And so if there's any site-specific comments, I'd be happy to respond, but I'll start with a short overview. let me share my screen. Seelan, can you unshare?
Trying to Vince, sorry.
There you go. All right, so hopefully you can see my screen. I just have the existing condition survey up, as Adam indicated. 2.7 acres about as measured to mean high water, and the site lies on the western shorefront of the harbor. Site's currently developed with a mix of single-story buildings and at-grade parking consisting of both paved and compacted gravel surfaces. There's no notable green area exists on the site and no formal drainage systems in place to our knowledge. There are two site drainage basins, portions of the site sheet flowing directly towards the harbor, and portions of the site towards the Water Street right away, where it is captured via city drainage infrastructure and eventually piped out to the harbor via drainage easement at 130 Water Street. And I'll just quickly share this coverage exhibit kind of depicting the hardscape and compacted gravel and dirt surfaces, and then skip ahead to the proposed plan here. Proposed site design includes city standard items such as streetscape elements in the form of trees, lighting, and sidewalks, as well as the on-site drainage improvements to meet the requirements of both zoning regulations and the city drainage manual. As indicated by others, Seelan and Adam, there will be publicly accessible walkways available both along the north and south portions of the site that provide that ADA access out towards the boardwalk. This proposal, if you look back at that coverage exhibit and then compare it to this proposed coverage exhibit, includes a decrease of coverage of approximately 12,000 square feet, which includes landscape zones and permeable walking surfaces within those public realm areas. Although counted as impervious coverage, additional benefits are achieved on the roof area with green about 11,650 square feet of green roof area, which again provides water quality via implementation of planting trays and soil for the direct runoff there. In addition to the decrease in overall impervious coverage, there are two underground infiltration systems proposed, which provide water quality and peak rates of runoff attenuation. The first system is below the lower level of the garage and is highlighting that here on the screen. And the tributary area of that consists of kind of the front half of building roof area and the driveway ramps on either side of the building. This system will have an overflow set above the water quality volume and will be piped to the infrastructure within Water Street. And the total tributary flow to that city drainage system is decreased with this proposal.
Vince,
The
excuse me, Vince, how high is that above the floodplain, the areas in there?
So the garage itself is at elevation 9.
Oh, okay.
And the proposed infiltration system is set above primarily elevation 4. So we set that kind of commensurate sit above mean high water. So that second system, and I'll stay on this plan here, is out underneath the kind of public landscaped area on the water side of the site. Similarly, overflow is set to provide that water quality volume and a new pipe is proposed to discharge out into the harbor. And that collects, overflows from the permeable walking surfaces and from that infiltration system. I didn't say what was tributary to this. This system is designed to capture and treat the runoff of the remainder of the building roof area. So in this case, 70% of the impervious coverage on site is treated via the underground infiltration systems, while a total of 79% of the site area is treated when accounting for infiltration systems, permeable walking surfaces, and green roof area. With the proposed systems in place, not only are we hitting that water quality value, but the total runoff flow and volume tributary to the harbor, considering what's going to Water Street and then back out to the harbor, but also our connection to the harbor, we're reducing that total flow and volume up to and including a 100-year storm event. So the proposed site plan also includes sediment erosion control plan that will help provide guidance, both for erosion control, dust control, just in order to minimize any potential impacts of construction activities. And then the other thing I wanted to hit upon was with respect to the flood zones. The building itself is proposed in the AE zone. Well, any structural member of the building is in the AE zone and is designed to meet the requirements of the city flood zone standards, which is setting that finished floor level 2 feet above the base flood. As we indicated before, the shoreline is developed containing, and this particular site contains a mix of, dilapidated timber and concrete structures, miscellaneous piles and debris. So the plan would be to remove those debris and piles, rehabilitate the shoreline, and have that help improve the stability and resiliency, as well as the eventual bulkhead replacement, which would help minimize any damage to upland areas from flood and erosion impacts. Adam, unless you think there's anything else.
I have a question about the lay of the land there. Is the bulkhead extending closer to the river than it is now? It just looks to be like it's, I don't quite understand where the existing where the water ends and the parking lot begins.
Yeah, I think Azure D is on, but I think our goal is to keep it landward of the existing bulkhead.
That's right. I could speak to that in a minute when you're all set.
Thank you.
Right, Azure?
Yeah.
Great. Vince, if you could stop sharing, I'll pull up my plans. For the record, Azure D. Slicher with Race Coastal Engineering, PE, and we're focused on the waterfront aspects of the project, the docks and the bulkhead. Share here. And so to answer your question, we'll go to the existing plan. So as you can see from the existing plan, it's highly irregular. There's a lot of structure out there, dilapidated timber, bulkhead, concrete structures, not necessarily a straight line. But we propose to strike a straight line, which would be just landward of what the average straight line would be today of connecting the dots between the structures. And this was something that we're in the process of coordinating with DEEP on, as far as, we know that we can't really encroach, seaward of the CJL too much or encroach beyond the existing bulkhead line. So we're just inside of what we consider to be the bulkhead line. based on a highly irregular, condition as far as what's out there today. So this is an overview of the actual sheet pile without the boardwalk shown on top, relative to where the CJL is now. We have a little bit of encroachment here and there, again, because of the dilapidation of the shoreline, but based on striking the line of the existing bulkhead, we're just landward of that. And if I go to this other rendering, and I guess I want to start by saying that right now you're seeing this application as part of the coastal site plan review process. You will be seeing it again when we submit to DEEP. As Adam mentioned early on, we're in the process of coordinating with DEEP, and all of the waterfront work is subject to DEEP's final review and approval. And so we're in the preliminary discussions with them right now on the design aspects of this project. And we plan to submit a pre-application review request to your commission, probably within the next 4 to 6 weeks. So we expect that we will be before you again in the capacity of the permit application for DEEP. So one more here. So just actually get there. There we go. So this shows the overview of the proposed docks. We are fairly limited in space. We do have the channel, Federal Navigation Channel nearby, and we've maintained a 30-foot offset, a regulatory offset for any fixed structures. And so that leaves us with the area that we have the docks in. We've attempted to maximize the number of docks and the configuration to meet within the channel setback line. And we've allocated a range of potential slip sizes from 20 feet to 40 feet over a course of 14 floats, or 14 spaces that would not require any dredging. So that is one key aspect that we're not anticipating needing to dredge. We've done some initial site work, hydrographic survey work, and so forth, and determined that we can fit these particular floats with this configuration without the need for dredging. The docks will be ADA accessible, so we were looking to site the gangway to make the docks accessible as well. And then, as mentioned previously, we have the boardwalk and the bulkhead underneath. And that's pretty much it, unless there's any questions on that.
No. The commissioners have any additional questions?
I have a question on remediation. Is remediation going to be needed?
I can speak to that. Hi, Henry Conroy from Spinnaker Real Estate Partners. We do anticipate that there will be some remediation on site. There's known environmentally concerning activities that had happened in the past, as well as the general, kempness of the site currently. We don't know the full extent of that remediation effort, but we anticipate we'll have to clean up some soil, do some additional testing prior to beginning full construction activities on the site.
And there was some mention about fishing. Did I hear that correctly? Opportunity for fishing?
So what I would say is one of the things that we are trying to figure out best, and we're going out and reaching out to people in the community and different stakeholders that we know. I've lived in Norwalk my whole life, active on the waterfront, trying to figure out what's the best type of water dependent use that would also be beneficial to everyone, quite frankly. And if any of you have any ideas while we're talking about this, I'd be happy to hear them. Some ideas that we have had is, could we put some charter fishing opportunities on this row of docks, as well as, kind of like a service center that you'd be able to book charter fishing within the building. That's one idea. There's been another idea of, rental kayaks as a water dependent use. There's been the potential for, this is just throwing out some sort of a hatchery or something else inside of the building in that on grade area. we haven't quite figured that out. As you can imagine, we're still in the approval stage, so we don't have a tenant that has, just like we don't have a restaurant tenant, we don't have a tenant within that water dependent use, but we're really navigating and looking around for all options for something that would be, one, a benefit to the community, two, obviously a water dependent use, and three, is able to be successful and thrive in the space.
Okay, so you mentioned kayaks, so that would be a kayak rental. Would the public be able to bring their own kayaks down and launch them?
Well, it is publicly accessible. So I mentioned that as a use. I don't know if it's the best use because of just the layout of the site. I don't know if it's like the easiest way to be able to get a kayak out, to get down to the dock and launch off of the site. So it's something that we thought of, but that's also one of the counter thoughts, is that is it functionally make sense for people to use it?
And public access, where is that 24/7, or is there going to be dawn to dusk?
We don't have the exact timing set up, but typically when we've been thinking that we want to have as much public access as possible, but with the limitations that we can kind of operate it in similar timeline to some of the retail spaces that we have on site. For example, a restaurant, once the restaurant closes down, we'd prefer to have the site, you know, not necessarily like policing it, but also if there's a lot of people hanging out at 2 a.m, as managers of the property, we're going to want to reach it, you know, dictate that activity shouldn't be happening that late, kind of just like anybody would on their private property.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be at least like a dusk till dawn, or dawn till dusk open to the public. But probably not through the entire evening hours.
Is Officer Lee still on? Deputy Harbor Master Lee still on?
I am.
Yeah. What was the former use of the total? You had mentioned there were several other functions that you were having over there too, with regard to maybe land remediation. Is that would that be what concern would we have there with that? You said you used it for munitions or storage of boats, and what was that?
No, GNC Marine is currently located there. And obviously we all know what they do when we have derelict, abandoned boats and vessels that are undesirable that we have to get rid of because they've sunk in the harbor or they've grounded somewhere. Also, the city loads all of the fireworks for the city event and also the Rowayton event. They also do all of the hazmat for all of the islands, everybody that needs to get gas out to their islands and things like that, because we all know that you can't load hazardous material from Vets Park. So my concern is that we don't currently have another feasible alternative to do all of those things.
Adam Blank, this is Robert Stowers. I was wondering, can you guys hear me at all?
Yes,
Yep.
Robert.
Adam, in terms of hours, you know, we've just went through a time change on our parks with the council, and so it might be, even though it's not a city park, it's a park of sorts. It may be that it might be easier or maybe more consistent to go with our new park hours, which actually are more defined than dusk to dawn. Dusk to dawn changes all the time, so you might want to do that. I don't know.
What are the park hours? Did you say that?
Well, generally, park hours are open at 7, and for most parks. And in the fall, I believe it's 9:30 in the fall and winter, or 8:30. Yeah, 8:30 to 9:30. Some parks like Vets would be 8:30, and I think Oyster Show was 8:30. The rest were 9. And then in the summer, the closing hours were for most of the parks were 10 o'clock.
I couldn't quite catch all of that, but
But I can send them to you, Adam. I can send you the hours.
that would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just That's fine, as long as we can control and keep any nuisances out, you know,
Oh, yeah,
that's fine.
definitely, yeah.
Yeah, I think for the slips, you know, the boat owners will want to have 24/7 access to their vessel, so there needs to be a key card or some kind of a access method for the people holding those slips,
Yeah,
which I think is easily surmountable. You know.
Yeah.
agreed.
Azure, can I share the my screen for 1 sec?
Sure, and I actually, guys, I have to jump for a 7 o'clock hearing. So if there's any final questions for me, otherwise you guys will see me in a few more weeks when we submit the deep application. But unfortunately, I do have to jump, but I could take another question or two if there's anything related to the docks or bulkhead.
No.
I guess the only question I had was, you mentioned there's access via boat for the restaurants. Is there gonna be some transient slips amongst those, or are those all just owner occupancy, for the residents?
We plan to have a combination of transient slips for the restaurant. You know, just because they're open doesn't mean they're completely designated for the restaurant. We want to be able to have some additional amenity to the public boaters to be able to get to the site and enjoy the park as well.
And I'll just want to just go back to something that I think Officer Lee said, and just to kind of put it out there because it is out there, but the current site, somewhere between 85 and 90% of the current site is boat storage, where boats are hauled here from off-site. They're not pulled out of the water here. So that's the bulk of what the site is currently being used for. I know that Henry and the team have been working with the existing users to try to find a place to relocate them. Obviously, there are some trade-offs if this site changes over. We are going to lose the existing users, but we are going to then in exchange have this essentially public access acre of park, which doesn't exist, the boat slips, the redone bulkhead, and we've committed to a truly water dependent use with the user to be determined on that front chunk of the site that's reserved for that use. So you can't have everything on every parcel, but we would like to think that this is overall an improvement, even though there are certainly going to be some losses.
And there would be public parking if they wanted to visit the site.
Yeah, as long as planning and zoning allows it.
You have a parking garage, right?
Yeah.
So would public parking be there? If you want to visit the
It's
site.
going to have to, because there's retail and there's office and there's apartment. So there'll definitely be public parking. I don't know exactly how that will be managed. Probably the spaces on the top deck and up on that internal drive would be the public spaces.
Okay.
Jeff, yes.
Two questions, John. When is the P and Z hearing scheduled for your project or for this project?
I don't believe it's been scheduled at present.
And that brings to the point, we're looking at this very, very complex project tonight for the first time. And my thought, John, is that if the hearing is not going to be held in the next 30 days, that one approach is to table this and give some more thought to it before the next meeting. But that's one thought that I have. The other thought, have you received comments from DEEP yet on this?
We have not.
And I think that's something that the Harbor Commission would also might want to see. This, is one of the most flood-prone areas in the city. The other comment, you mentioned residential development. How many units are you proposing, and does that would the units that you're proposing be allowed under the existing zoning?
The 59 units are proposed. They are allowed as of right under the existing zoning. And it's actually, the zoning is this SD Marine Commercial Zone, which only covers, I'm gonna call it about 20, I may be off, but about 20 parcels, all of which are in the flood zone. So it's this zone.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's my, you're not proposing an amendment, but it gets back to the thought that we've talked about for a while, since the city was proposing rezoning here and the POCD, that again, the concept of resiliency is intended to accelerate recovery after a flood event and reduce existing vulnerability, but not, I think it's a misuse to use the concept of resiliency to argue for more development in the floodplain. But in this instance, since it's as of right now, and you're not asking for additional residential development, I think there's no remedy to oppose that. But I think the flood issues, I mean, we've seen photographs that the police department and the fire department have provided of the flooding on Water Street. Sometimes it doesn't even need a severe storm.
Yeah, and Redness and Mead has done some investigation into that. And if you want Vince to speak on it, but they have identified a solution that would assist in some of the decrease on Water Street flooding. I think we're getting we haven't yet met with DPW. They're aware of it.
Yeah, I can speak to this. So in our engineering report, we do offer discussion of drainage within Water Street as it relates to the low points and ponding of water. And specifically, we referenced the Resilient South Norwalk report that was prepared by AECom on behalf of the city. And one specific element that they brought up was a hopeful eventual elevation of Water Street, and the elevation that they recommend in their report is elevation 9, which would reduce frequency and depths of the potential flooding that occur from, your spring and king tides, and your coastal surge events. So what we discussed in the report is two things. One, the garage has purposefully been designed, the lower level of the garage, to elevation 9. So it's at that same elevation that they recommended. And we've limited the ground floor space below elevation 9 to just ADA access lobbies, essentially. So very limited square footage. And those are set to the current street elevation, essentially street plus 6 inches of curb depth and 2% cross pitch on sidewalks. Those can easily be raised to elevation 9 should the city at any point decide that they can raise the roadway elevation to 9. The second thing is, and this is what Adam was just referring to, we actually have a meeting scheduled for Monday, this coming Monday, to review with DPW the potential for a backflow preventer on the pipe discharge at 130 Water Street. And the report kind of indicates that we believe that kind of triggers an immediate benefit of reducing some of those surge events that occur within the stormwater system, because that's where a majority of those Water Street flooding from tides is occurring.
Mm-hmm. Well, we understand all that, and it's as of right that you can do this. My point was just how that the concept of resiliency is used. You're talking about measures to enable additional development in the floodplain, and we talked about this with the Yukon Circa program too. But the concept of, there's no law against more development if it meets the floodplain standards. But I think it's a misnomer to say that we're being resilient when you're creating raising the road, but for the purpose of putting more development in the floodplain. But that's again a policy discussion. But my thought was, though, that if it's not, we don't anticipate having a public hearing on this in the next month, that we should give more thought to this, and including with the the benefit of any comments DEEP may have with respect to the compliance with the Coastal Management Act. But that's but as far as, improving water quality on the site and providing a water dependent use, and assuming that you have the proper management of the marina facilities, again, those are all items that will be consistent with the harbor management plan. But it's the floodplain development that's of interest. And you see some of the photos that Owen and Bruce have provided of the emergency response on Water Street when that whole street is flooded. It's quite spectacular. But those are my comments. Thank you.
Well, there's no question that is a, sort of multifactorial project. Several of the features about it certainly are consistent with the harbor management plan. Others, there's certainly maybe a few questions that we might have. What is the commission's druthers in all this? We can certainly have no objection for the project moving forward, or wait for further comment from DEEP with regard to the project.
I would like to see more comment from DEEP, actually.
I as
They
well.
have
I
to
would
say.
as well, John.
All right, would someone like to make that proposal then for us?
I say we table, I make a motion that we table this until next month.
Next month, we have it full length discussion. We have the full presentation here. I think that is online. I saw that. I just uploaded that now. And certainly, as I pointed out, this is a multifactorial issue with regard to some issues being certainly consistent with the harbor management plan, but then others might have some sort of question with regard to what is needed with regard to the floodplain area and what DEEP has to say on that. So, all right. So all those in favor of tabling discussion until next month?
Aye.
Mike Matthews. All right. Any opposition to that? Any abstention? All right, Alan, we have a quorum. I think we have five commissioners. We have five commissioners there.
Yeah, 5 commissioners. I don't vote on unless there's a tie in this committee. So,
All right, so we're all set then. All right, so again, we'll table the matter until next month, and we'll have a full discussion on that. We'll wait for Deep's presentation.
nice looking project, guys. It's nice to see.
Yeah, nice. No,
Yeah,
very well done.
something neat and clean down in South Norwalk along the water there.
Yeah. All righty. Moving along, on our next application is another CAM application, and that is at 46 South Beach Drive. I have to apologize. I have to confer to who our agent is on that, but the project involves you're going to plan to raise an existing single-family resident to be FEMA flood compliant and construct and there are other minor additions to that. I'm not sure who the agent is on that one, but this is at 46 South Beach Drive.
I am Dr. Pinto.
Oh, thank you. Oh, Liz, thank you very much, Ms. Such.
Thank you. May I proceed?
Absolutely, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Pinto, members of the Harbor Management Commission. For the record, my name is Liz Suchy. I'm a partner at Carmody Torrent, Santek and Hennessy, 1055 Washington Boulevard in Stamford. And we represent the owner of the property, which is Plant Court, LLC, and a representative of the owner of Plant Court, Christine Angelakis, is on tonight's meeting. Also present tonight are Oliver Cope and Olivia Rowan. They're the project architects, in case you have any questions on the design of the small additions of what we're planning to do. Vincent Hines of Redness and Mead is present as well to probably walk us through just very briefly the site plan for this project. Excuse me. And as I said before, Mrs. Angelakis is on the call. Vince, if you wouldn't mind, could you screen share the site plan? That would be great. And while he's doing that, the property is located at 46 South Beach Drive in Rowayton. It abuts Long Island Sound. South Beach Drive is on one side, Long Island Sound is on the other. And it is on the either side of the north, south, east, west. I'm sorry, it's probably east, west, are other residentially developed parcels in that Belle Island section of Norwalk. The property is rather large for properties in Belle Island. It's just under a half an acre, and it is improved with a single family dwelling with an attached garage that was built some 12 or 15 years ago. There is an existing seawall that runs along Long Island Sound on the south. And there is also a non-conforming, rather large shed in the southwest corner of the parcel. It's being circled right now. It's right up against South Beach Drive. The dwelling does not comply with the current FEMA requirements. It is currently finished floor elevation of 13. The FEMA requirement in this zone is 15 for both the VE and the AE classification of the property. And as you know, in Norwalk zoning regulations, not only are we required to build at the FEMA minimum flood, but an additional 2 feet. So the minimum flood elevation for this structure and the under ductwork must be at least 17, and we're actually raising it above that. So clearly the property is within the coastal area management boundary, as it is directly adjacent to Long Island Sound. The proposal is to remove certain sections of the dwelling and then elevate the dwelling to meet minimum flood and install some very small additions that are associated with elevating the structure to achieve that minimum flood elevation. The in-ground pool is going to be relocated, but out of the VE zone. There is new landscaping proposed and some on-grade patios to provide access from the dwelling to the pool and areas around the house. All work is landward of the coastal jurisdiction line. There is no work proposed to the seawall, and that's generally the overview of this proposal. You may think this is something similar to what you heard last month, and if you do, you're right, because we were before you last month with an adjacent property at 38 South Beach Drive for very much of the same type of proposal. Existing structure, elevate the structure to meet minimum flood, and take away some small portions of the dwelling, add additional portions of the dwelling, but everything would then meet the minimum flood requirements of FEMA plus 2 feet. Variances were granted by the Zoning Board of Appeals last month in connection with having to elevate the structure. There are some variances that we needed. Those were approved. There was also a coastal area management application filed, site plan application filed in connection with that variance application. And I believe your staff, Ms. William, opined as to the consistency of this proposal with the Coastal Area Management Act. That is it in a nutshell. We're happy to answer questions. If you'd like Mr. Hines to walk you through the site plan, we're happy to do so, show you anything that you might want to know about stormwater management. But it really is taking the house in place, moving it up to meet flood, and making some additional changes to the dwelling and some changes to the site itself. That's it.
Well, Ms. Such, as you know, the commission is usually interested in impervious surface.
Certainly.
And also the, for example, water runoff, catching water runoff, for example, any Coltech system plan to minimize inflow into the harbor. So I was just, maybe that could be addressed.
That would be fine. Mr. Hines, would you be kind enough to address those points and any other points that you think are appropriate from a coastal area management and harbor management perspective?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, Vince Hines, Redness and Mead, licensed engineer in the state of Connecticut. We provided the site engineering for this project here. The site, as Liz indicated, just under a half an acre with about 8,900 square feet of impervious coverage, and that's inclusive of building, driveways, miscellaneous walks, and ledge. The stormwater facilities on site include area drains that discharge both towards South Beach Drive via weep holes in the kind of front existing wall here, and then existing drains in on the water side that are connected and piped out again through the seawall towards the sound. With that, there's no formal water quality infrastructure other than sumps within the area drains. And ultimately, as I indicated last month for the 38 South Beach Drive job, the infrastructure within South Beach Drive is tributary to the sound as well. So 100% of the site is tributary to the sound. Under proposed conditions, which I have up on the screen, the pool and surrounding patio areas are reconfigured with the pool being proposed within the AE zone. Currently, it's split between AE and VE zone. And additionally, it's also lowered in elevation. So there's a benefit as it relates to just any flow of water. And impervious coverage on this one is about neutral at the end of the day, with just a slight reduction in coverage. But with that said, and kind of to meet the requirements of the DPW drainage manual, we are treating the water quality of the kind of disturbed pool and patio area. So we have two systems. We have, and we're doing that via equivalent areas. So we have a north Coltech system, which is capturing and treating 100% of the water quality for some of the tributary roof area here. And then we have a second Coltech system south of the pool, which is capturing overland sheet flow via this area drain and similarly some roof area. Both of those, as I mentioned, overflow such that 100% of the water quality volume is met. And then that overflow is eventually tributary to the same discharges that exist today, whether to the Sound or to South Beach Drive. As Liz indicated, there's no work seaward of the bulkhead wall here, a seawall. It's all proposed landward of that wall. And the plan set also includes a series of sediment and erosion controls with that guidance for both erosion control, dust control, and any tree protection, just to minimize any potential impacts for construction activities.
So the overall project will minimize or roughly decrease the amount of water runoff into the harbor through this Coltech treatment system, and
Correct.
Obviously then the need to maintain best management practices, during the construction process, so that any debris or anything runoff, would prevent it from going into the harbor. Okay.
Correct.
One other thing just to say, if I didn't make it clear before, is that shed that exists right on South Beach Drive, that's going to be eliminated in its entirety. So not only does it remove a non-conforming structure, it also opens up a view vista from South Beach to the water, and also removes all the impervious surface roof that exists today in connection with that corner structure that's just for shed. It's just a shed, but that's coming down as well.
So again, any commissioners have any issues? Yes, Jeff.
Just to the engineer again. So from the perspective of a professional engineer, you could attest that this project will result in a significant improvement in existing stormwater and water quality conditions on the site.
Yes, yeah. So one thing is the DPW manual and the way DPW interprets their manual is that you need to meet or reduce both flows and volumes of runoff up to the 100-year event. So we're doing that in essence with the net neutral impervious coverage, but also then increasing the amount of available water quality treatment via the two Coltech systems.
And then I think, John, that it would be consistent with the harbor management plan with respect to two topics. One, the improvement in water quality and stormwater conditions, but also reducing the vulnerability of an existing dwelling to flood hazards.
Right.
So I think those are two aspects of this that the commission could consider as consistent with the harbor management plan.
Yeah, those were two of the points that certainly have been major issues that we've presented with the past, and the same with the neighboring property as well. Yeah.
Exactly.
Any commissioner would like to make that motion?
I'll make the motion, John.
Was that Mike?
Mike, yeah.
Oh, Mike, thank you very much. Any second on that?
I'll second that.
Okay, thank you very much. And all those in favor for the proposed motion? And again, that is with regard to reduction of impervious surface, sort of improving the water quality. And again, one of the other caveat that we often use is that during the construction process, and that best management practices be maintained during the construction. And again, the reduction of the impervious surface by removal of a non-conforming building on the area. All right, so all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Any abstention? Great. And so,
Very much for your time.
thank you very much, Ms. Suchi. Okay, the next one is another CAM application, it's a CAM referral, and this is for 36 Shorefront Park. And again, we're going to construct a new single-family resident to be FEMA flood compliant, and there's going to be new landscaping and stormwater management features on that property. And I'm not sure who the agent is on that for discussion.
You have me again, Dr. Pinto.
Again. Oh, thank you very much.
So
I
again,
started recording and just changed it. Yes,
for
gotcha.
the record, Liz Suchi, partner Carmody Torrance, Sandak, Hennessy, 1055 Washington Boulevard in Stamford. Thank you for having us before you tonight. I represent the owner of the property, Samantha Davenport. The property is 36 Shorefront Park. Mr. Sumalides of Landtech is present. He is the civil engineer on the project and can talk to you about stormwater management systems that are going to be employed. Also present are Chris Pagliaro, the project architect, and Danilo Marini, also project architect, if you have questions of them specific to their design of the new single-family dwelling. Mr. Sumalides, if you could raise the site plan, that would be helpful. Coastal site plan application was filed July 16th. As I said, the property is at 36 Shorefront Park, District 2, Block 85, Lot 21. The property is just under 6,500 square feet, and it is in the CD1S zone, which was formerly the B resident zone, City of Norwalk. It is adjacent to the Norwalk Harbor, as you see on the screen. That harbor is directly to the east, and so it is clearly within the coastal area management zone. It is split AE and VE zone. The VE zone is elevation 14, AE elevation 11, but the structure, since it is proposed within the VE zone, must be built to VE zone standards. So that is a 14-foot elevation plus 2 feet as required by the Cities of Norwalk zoning regulations. So the finished floor, substructure, ductwork will all be at least at 16 feet. In fact, it's a little bit taller than that. Right now, the property is vacant. There had been a structure on it, which was demolished sometime 2022, 2023. There is an existing seawall, which, like the prior application, there is no work proposed or changes to that seawall. And this proposal contemplates a new single-family dwelling, 4-bedroom, fully compliant with zoning requirements, fully compliant with FEMA and all of the requirements of the Public Works Department. At this point, I would like Mr. Sumalides just to walk you through the site plan, and as you had asked before about stormwater management, but between the stormwater management that's proposed and the compliance with minimum flood for FEMA, protection of life and property, I think that's both consistent with the harbor management plan. So Mr. Sumalides, it's all yours.
Good evening. My name is Andy Sumalides. I'm a principal and professional engineer with Landtech out of Westport. As Attorney Suchi just mentioned, there previously was a single-family residence here, and remnants of driveway still exist on the site. So I'm just going to jump back quickly to the existing conditions. Under existing conditions, what previously occurred on the site is the existing driveway. You can see there's still a catch basin here with a pipe that directly goes out the seawall. We don't have any indication of what treatment was there, but we fathom there was no treatment for the existing house either, based on how the stormwater was treated for the existing driveway. So we presume all runoff was going untreated into the harbor under existing conditions. Under existing conditions, taking into account that previous structure that was there, we had about 2,900 square feet of existing impervious surfaces. Under proposed conditions with a new FEMA compliant structure, single-family residence, the first floor is up at elevation 18 plus, which allows, ductwork and any horizontal structural members to be at least 2 feet above the base flood elevation of 14 here. What we did here from a stormwater perspective is use porous asphalt for the driveway, and you could see open jointed walkways and patios, creating and promoting infiltration at the source. The roof runoff will be captured and piped and put into perforated pipes below that porous asphalt driveway. Basically a big crushed stone with perforated pipe and promoting infiltration in the front yard here. The proposed impervious surfaces is about 2,200 square feet. So a net reduction from what previously existed on the site a few years ago of, roughly 700 square feet on this small lot. As mentioned earlier, there's no waterward of the seawall or CJL. All work is landward of that. And again, we promoted with a lot of porous material here on the site for, again, driveway and walkways and patios. We also have, as part of our plan, temporary erosion and sediment controls, as during construction, your typical silt fence, temporary stockpile here located near the front of the property, away from the Norwalk Harbor. So overall, we strongly feel this application improves water quality measures for the site, as well as temporary measures to make sure there's no mitigation of sediment during construction. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions on the application for 36 Shorefront Park? All right. Anyone like to make probably a similar recommendation as we had for the previous application?
Yeah, Dr. Pinto, I'll make that with our standard language.
Okay, Matt, thank you. So again, with the reduction of impervious surface and also the treatment of, for example, water runoff, and again, usual comment with regard to best management practices with regard to during the construction process to avoid any debris heading into the Norwalk Harbor, that we can certainly find this consistent with the harbor management plan. So Matt will make that statement. Any second on that?
I'll second that.
And all those in favor?
Aye.
Good. And any opposed? And any abstention? We're all set.
Well, again, Mr. Chairman and members of the commission, thank you for your time tonight, and we hope you have a shorter meeting next time around, but thank you for your time and appreciate your help.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Okay. We have now a application from 10 Nathan Hale Drive, and this is a CAM application. Last month, we reviewed a COP that was a wall construction. Now this is a CAM application for repair of an existing flood and erosion control structure, seawall, and a deck. And I'm not sure again who the agent on that. Oh, Tom. Yes. Oh, again. Okay.
Yes. Good evening. In summary, basically, this is the same exact application. Nothing has changed. We are in the process of receiving a permit from the DEP. The same plans were submitted for a CAM application last week. The reason for that is portions of the seawall are within the city's jurisdiction. So we are now proceeding with a CAM application. I can at this point go over the entire project. Again, it has not changed from what you reviewed, but I can go over the project and refresh it, or do as much or as little as you require tonight.
What's the druthers of the recall what the project was about last month? And again, that was again reconstruction of that was an existing, but it was a repair of an existing seawall that were reviewed from last month.
Yes, this is the same one. It's a repair of an existing seawall. And like I said, I can go through the whole project again or answer any questions, however you wish.
Commissioners, anybody feel that's necessary? Not hearing anything? I think we can proceed forward.
Can I ask a question, John?
Yeah, I'm certainly doing.
Tom, just to understand the process, Tom. So this is a flood and erosion control structure. Doesn't that automatically require a coastal site plan review? I'm not just thinking about your project, but any flood and erosion control structure is subject to coastal site plan review. Isn't that?
That's correct. We have done two things. One, it requires to be sent up to the DEP per regulations, so that has been done. However, we don't expect too many comments because they have already been seeing this for the last, several months. Well, few months, and they have already provided us with a number of comments, and I think we're at the end of that. So, from DEP's perspective, I think we are pretty much done. How about, to answer your question, yes, it is written in the statutes that all flood and erosion control structures must be sent up to the DEP for their comments and must receive a coastal site plan review from the city.
And then this, we talked about this, that the harbor management plan supports the timely repair and maintenance of existing shoreline structures as necessary to protect existing development. So insofar as this wouldn't extend the footprint or that it would be consistent with the plan, in my opinion.
Yeah. So we can certainly go with the comment that we had last, and again, we found it consistent with the harbor management plan. All right, would anyone like to make that recommendation? Anyone? All right, I'll go ahead and make that motion that we find the application at 10 Nathan Hill Drive, the repair and existing flood and erosion control structure of the seawall and deck. We find consistent with the Norwalk Harbor Management Plan.
I'll second that motion, John.
And all those second it, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any abstention? Any nays? No. All right, we're all set on that. Great. Tom, thank you very much, and I'll get those letters out to you.
Great. Thank you for your time on this. And I'm also on the next one, so I'm just going to stay on.
Okay, all right. This is at 32 Shorehaven Road. And again, it's construct a residential dock. Is that correct?
Yes, this is again the same introduction as the last one, where we have you have seen this in the past due to the structures dredging and fill permit application that was submitted. So you did a consultation form.
Right.
You provided a consultation form on January 4th of last year.
Mm-hmm.
Since then, we have modified. Actually, I thought I had that one up. We have modified the plan. Let me do that. I thought I had already put that up. But the dock now dog legs toward the center of the property. If you want to see that, I can find it. I thought I had, thought I was prepared, apparently not. But it is the same exact application except for the plan dog legs and goes to the center of the property. And we have received a permit from the DEP. So we are now proceeding with a coastal site plan review application for the city, because the portion of the dock, there is a portion of the dock that's within the city's jurisdiction. And again, I can go into a whole bunch more detail, or it's whatever you prefer at this point.
The reason for the dog leg change was, what was that? Or again?
To satisfy the, I'm sorry to interrupt. So to satisfy the neighbors to the north, they had asked for it to be pulled away. We did some simple designs changes, and the applicants actually preferred it that way. So it was a simple change on both fronts that satisfied both fronts.
Neighbors, everyone's in concurrence with that then?
Yes, they were the ones who requested that it be further away, and we accommodated. And then again, it happened to be beneficial to the clients as well, so everybody was happy.
Oh.
Which doesn't always happen, so I want to advertise that.
Can you pull up that drawing for us too?
Yeah, I'm actually pulling up the. I thought I had all this already all set. I'll be there in a second. I will be able to open this up for you. Here it is. Deep. Actually, what I'll do is just pull up the actual permit, because that obviously is the approved plans. So I'm scrolling down to the permit drawings, and we'll have those for you. There we go. All right, so I will share that. This is just showing where it's located, which we're all familiar with. Again, aerial showing you where we're familiar with. I will rotate this to accommodate. There we go. And rotate.
Oh, I see how okay.
Right. So what we've done is we kept this here and we angled it outward, and we now have a 60.5 foot distance between us and the property line to the north. We have received a DEP approval, and we have received Army Corps approval. So other than that, it's really just everything slid over to the center of the property.
So that dock is south facing?
Yes, this is the north arrow up in the top left. Well, it's not really south, it's southeast. North is straight up, so this would be kind of facing southeast.
So is that the second or third property on the island? I can't remember.
Well, I can go back to, I'll show you, well, I can answer that, but it's probably just easier to
There we go.
show you the, there you go.
Yeah.
That is the location of the property.
I guess the only question I have is just because of the way that storms come in, it gets hammered from the east. Just for thought process about removal or, storm prep, things like that, it gets pretty rough in pretty quick in that space.
Yes, and typically all ramps and floats are removed during the off season. This one would probably be very good one to follow that suit for the reasons you just suggested.
Mm-hmm. Right. All right. So would anyone like to make a motion? Again, we find that consistent with the harbor management plan.
I'll make that motion, Dr. Pinto.
All right.
I'll second it.
Thank you very much.
With a standard language, but yeah, that's perfect.
Standard language.
I don't have any issue with that, and especially if we can just confirm that's definitely going to be taken out in the off season. But my only concern is just because it gets, so dangerous in there quickly with an east wind at a couple hours and it builds to a couple feet.
That's great. Okay. All right. All those in favor of the motion? Aye. Any abstentions? Any nays? So moved, and we'll move forward with that. Tom, thank you very much for your time.
Appreciate your time on this. Thank you for your help. Take care.
And again, we've come to an end of our review of applications.
Take a breath.
Okay.
Maybe I should turn my audio on. Thanks, Doc. Appreciate it. Does anybody need to take a quick break? Or are we ready to move forward?
No, I think we can move forward. I'm
all right.
Forward.
I will give as brief a report as I can. It's been a very good month, and Jeff's going to report on a project which is really an excellent interaction with the Harbor Commission, the community, the Marine Police, and our Harbor Master. I'm really think the Commission should be very proud of Jeff's work. So that's something to look forward to in a minute. Also, we all have city email addresses. It's important that we all use those for communication. There's a lot of benefits. One of them is that any FOIA requests we get can be done by the city, because they can just scan all of our emails and pull out whatever buzzwords we're supposed to report on our own, which would save some of us a whole lot of time in responding to that. So that's important. I think it's very, very going to help us a lot, and certainly save some of us a lot of time. I had a long conversation with Amelia today. It's very important that all of our documents reside in City Hall. I sent a few things around to you guys a few days ago that I had never seen before. They were, again, related to the Walk Bridge project. But I found the one document it was not in City Hall, but it was on Nancy and on Norwalk was where I found that. It was kind of interesting to read. So we have to be very, very careful and very thoughtful about being sure the city has an appropriate record. So everything should go, through Amelia's and be copied to her. Any correspondence, any regulatory things we do, any of the letters regarding these approvals really should go and should be mailed from City Hall as well. That's really the.
I'll do, that's probably, again, part of my lacks on that, just I guess signing in. That's what I have to do yet, is to register for that email.
Yeah.
All of the emails that I mean, all of the application reviews that I send all go to Amelia first.
Yeah.
And to you, Alan. So
because that's very important. So for the city to have a record, but everything has to end up in city hall. There's one thing that's not really harbor management business. I've served on the planning advisory committee for the Route 7 Barrett Parkway interchange for over 15 years. And I just during COVID, the committee really didn't meet, but we had a meeting last week, 2 weeks ago, with the engineers for the project, and what's happened is it's changed once again, but the transitions from Super 7 will change radically. The circular ramps that exist now on the east side of the interchange will be taken apart, dismantled, and the access between the two routes, between Super 7 and the Merritt Parkway, will be through traffic light controlled intersections. If you were driving north on Super 7 and wanted to go east on the Merritt Parkway, you would have to go through, I think it's 3 traffic lights to go kind of cross country across Main Avenue and then onto the and get on the Parkway on Main Avenue by Stop and Shop. What I'm concerned about is that committee in which I serve has always looked at the Super 7 as an egress route from Norwalk in the event of a serious coastal storm, which Connecticut has had a few of them. When I was a kid, my grandparents had a waterfront home in Niantic, and there's 25 feet of the lawn disappeared one night, in a serious storm I was a little kid back in the 50s. The hurricane of 38, that really took part of the houses or the hotels on the Thimble Islands, who found 6 miles inland. So there's a lot of possibility of disaster and tragedy where people need to be able to get out of South Norwalk, particularly with the building development that's going on right now down there. They're increasing the population in a wetland area or a flood prone area. So again, it's not harbor management business, but if you'd like to find out more about it, you can go to the 715 website at the Department of Public Works, at the DOT, at Connecticut DOT, and have a look. I can send you the link in fact, I'll just send that to all of you, I guess. But if you'd like to look at it and have any comment, again, it's not for the Harbor Commission, but it relates to our citizens getting out of the area of the harbor in a disaster. And I think it's important that there be smooth access out of the coastal area in the event of a major weather event. So that's my little speech for this evening. So that said and done, Chairman Bartosh is indisposed. He could not find anybody who wanted to run the meeting. Yeah.
I'm sorry, we reviewed applications on Route 7 extension, probably maybe about 7-8 years ago, part of the commission with regard to salt and water runoff on there going into the harbor. So we've done that in the past. So yeah. Hi,
Jeff?
In my report, I'll mention that, John.
Oh, right.
Again, Mr. Bartosh is indisposed this evening, couldn't be with us. Harbor Master Lavallo. It's to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll be quick. Busy month. I've been certain weekends and certain early mornings. I've been going out in the harbor. I received I get some chatter from the captains of the oyster boats, and it's the ongoing issue about the rowers, and they pretty much think the harbor is their whole rowing industry. They're 3, 4 rowing shells wide, and it makes it difficult for the commercial boats and the other mariners. So I've been going out early, 5:30 in the morning, thinking that's when the oyster boats are going out, so I can be out there just to see what's going on. And it's like everything else. It's like when a police officer is sitting on a stop sign. When you see the police, everyone obeys the stop sign. And when you don't see the police or the harbor master, it's free for all. So I've been trying to get out there is basically what I'm saying, and everything is running smoothly. It's I received a call from Terry Marine. They requested to have a mooring permit for their crane and barge. They are doing some work with Chiambro, so I granted that so they can stage in the harbor. So I know, the emails may come in from seeing the crane out there, but Chiambro has hired them to do some work. Other than that,
Hey, when that's going to be out there, Bruce?
What's that?
Did they say time frame when that's going to be out there?
No, no. I know. So last month I reported about the mooring balls and some of the yellow construction buoys out by Greens Ledge Lake. Some of them have been breaking loose, and Chiambro's been going out there with the marine unit trying to solve that problem, and they came up with the idea that they're pulling the moorings out there. They're gonna pull them. So I think the barge, it might even been out there today or tomorrow. They're going to be pulling the buoys and the anchors. So they'll probably be storing the barge in the harbor. Other than that, I'll let the rest of my report will be with Jeff Mangles, because we had a pretty busy couple of weeks. That's the end of my report. Thank you.
Jeff.
Question,
Bruce?
Yeah. A question, Bruce, on the mooring of those barges out near Greens Ledge. They have marker buoys on them, right? Are there any lights? Because I heard some comment with regard to visibility at night with having perhaps a safety. Yeah, well, the ones in the harbor definitely have lights on them. The ones out at Greens Ledge had lights on them. They're on with magnets, so I think if it gets kind of windy or things are moving around, I think those lights fall off. But we don't have to worry about that right now because they're being removed. So that's and then one other thing, I know Commissioner Mangles was going to bring it up, but over the weekend I clipped a little rock with the prop going out to Shea Island. So I may need have to get a new prop. So I'm in the process of getting a quote from All Seasons Marine. Nothing serious, it just is going to need a prop. That's on the report.
Any questions for the harbor master?
I had one quick question, Alan. And it was just your first part about any of the rowing issues. Has it been kind of consistent, Bruce, or is it kind of picked up overall?
They last season it was, I send out emails. I tried to inform and tell them about the complaints that I get, and try to have everybody on the same page. And most of the time it's not an issue, but there's some clubs that still want to do their own thing. There's a plan. There's Griffin, he had a plan for the rowers. It's a big loop. Maybe 2 shells wide, and they're supposed to go out, and it's a big circle basically. And especially with all the work and the barges and everything else, they need to stick with that program basically. Sometimes I go out there are 4 or 5 wide. I mean, you got boats coming out of South Norwalk Boat Club and other boat traffic. It just creates havoc. The marine units on top of it. When I get the complaints, I immediately give it to Sergeant Basigli, and his crew basically handles that. So, and one other thing I forgot to mention is Commissioner Remsen. Thank you very much for doing the scale by the Straffolino Bridge. That next day, I received a lot of calls, especially from Oyster Bend, thanking me for getting that done. So I just want to thank you for making that happen. Other than that, I'm good.
Thank you, Bruce, and thank you, Don. Appreciate the help with that. Jeff Stedman.
No, thank you. I have a number of things I was going to mention, if I can do it quickly. And I think you talked about it at the beginning with respect to the legislative initiative to amend the Harbor Management Act. There's a 5-person committee that's been established, representative from Greenwich, Stamford, John from Norwalk, Fairfield, and New London, to work with DEP to come up with a agreeable legislative amendment for the next legislative session. And again, I know this is a lot of stuff that we've talked about for a long time, but we should just all understand how this affects the harbor commissions, not just Norwalk, but every commission. And there's a number of commissions now that are working to update their plans. And those commissions are talking among themselves and to have an element of their plan that's consistent and in accordance with the legislative change that we want. So what happened as a result of the Greenwich project, and it was more than just a simple dock application, it was a cleverly designed dock to avoid having to comply with the town's zoning regulation. But as a result, the court ruled 2 things that are really significant. One is that for a recommendation of any harbor commission to have weight with DEP, it has to be spelled out ahead of time in the harbor management plan. And of course, that's illogical and not practical, that a plan can have an answer to every question. And when we worked on the Greenwich Harbor Management Plan, which was approved by DEP, we thought that issue had been resolved. When DEP approved in the Greenwich Plan that it's a recommendation of the Harbor Management Commission that's based on the policies of the plan, that's binding on DEP unless DEP shows cause otherwise. DEP did not uphold that in the court case and in the public hearing of this dock in Greenwich. They argued that it has to be something spelled out ahead of time in the plan. And that was just unfair. But the judge went even further, by saying that there is no authority now for the harbor commissions to have the harbor commissions have no legal authority to even review applications for DEP permits. And that invalidates every plan, because including the Norwalk plan, where an important element of implementation is review of DEP applications for DEP permits. So without going into much more, that's what we hope to work out with DEP. And also, as we know, that the commissioner of DEP, in response to the most recent proposal this past session, misrepresented the intent and the substance of the bill that was being proposed. So John has been talking with Mr. Thompson at DEP, who's confirmed his willingness to work with us, and we'll start that process. Sorry to go on, but this affects everybody. The second point, and Alan, I'm glad you mentioned that the Merritt Route 7 project. I would argue that as far as that project affects stormwater, it's directly related to the Harbor Commission has a direct interest in this, and just as we had a direct interest when Aquarian was going to withdraw million gallons a day from the Wilton Aquifer. It affects the Norwalk River, and therefore it affects down in the harbor. So this project includes work over and nearby and adjoining the Norwalk River. And if you look at the presentations that were given at the public meeting and also at these advisory committee meetings, I didn't see any reference at all to environmental initiatives. It's public safety, of course, which is maybe paramount, and with respect to vehicle traffic and pedestrian and bicycles, but there's no discussion of stormwater management at all. So we looked at two or three projects tonight where an individual property owner has to manage stormwater if they increase impervious surfaces. But if you look at the DEP's presentations, the existing roadway views and proposed, it appears that there's a substantial increase in impervious in road surfaces. But there's no discussion, and maybe there is someplace, about where that stormwater goes, where the drainage goes into the Norwalk River. And we had an excellent study that was done by Professor Hart for us that did the statistical relationship between bacteria and discharges in the river and the elevated counts in the harbor affecting the shellfish beds. And that determined that the impact on the shellfish beds comes from the discharges in the lower urbanized part of the watershed, including this area. So I think that this is something that we'll need to be involved with, asked deep about the process now of permitting and approval of the final plans. And then there will be an opportunity for the Harbor Commission to certainly, in my opinion, request the same approach to stormwater management as was done with the Yankee Doodle Bridge. That's two. The third one, and again, getting back to the Manresa Island development proposal, and that third public engagement meeting was the Sunday last, which was quite something. I've never quite seen anything like that in respect to planning. But again, no discussion, at least that I heard, of the regulatory process, the approvals that are needed, or the schedule that's to be followed. So Mr. Bardish has contacted the director of DEEP's remediation division to request a meeting just to understand the timing and the approvals that are needed. And if you follow the remediation process that's been followed in Stratford with the Big Army engine plant remediation, which is much bigger than this, it started with what's called a stewardship permit, which is issued by DEEP, and it sets forth the responsibilities for remediation and what the goals are and so forth. But it doesn't have the means and measures for accomplishing that. That's later handled through the remedial action plan. But the stewardship permit, at least in Stratford, there was a significant public meeting, public involvement to understand and so anyway, Steve has reached out to the remediation division, and we should have more understanding of that in the next few weeks, hopefully. When the Harbor Commission will be involved and what is going to be the goal for remediation. Another topic, the Norwalk River Watershed Initiative did not meet this month. They'll be meeting next month, and as I said last month, there will be a meeting in September held to discuss the update to the watershed-based plan, and that is now scheduled to be at the Maritime Aquarium. And I think we can have a nice display of our watershed related visuals with the maps and aerial photos to participate in that meeting. And also maybe next month in August we can have a discussion of the draft policies that are being considered. That's that. Also, I know, Alan, at the beginning you mentioned something about pursuing dredging. That we've got 17 years, and I think I thought we provided Lori with the steps in the process to accomplish the federal dredging project the last time. We do have a good relationship with the project manager who would likely be assigned to the Norwalk project. And it begins with a statement to the Corps of Engineers that will demonstrate that there is a need to start thinking about it. And that would be with relationship to the most recent condition survey. Other topic, again, and Mr. Stowers is still here. I still would like at some point to have on the agenda a discussion of naming the Veterans Park Marina after Tony Mobilia, and to have a statement or a recommendation to the mayor before the mayor retires, especially since the mayor and Tony were such good friends, and Tony was such an important member of the Harbor Management Commission. It's a bunch of other things. The last thing I might mention is you may have read this in the newspaper, but the first selectman in Fairfield, Bill Gerber, passed away after a sudden illness last week. And he was a very decent and kind man who supported the environmental stewardship. He supported the Harbor Management Commission. And just thinking about a person who puts public service above, any advancement to himself or to any special interest. When his young son died of cancer some years ago, he and his wife established a foundation, to raise money for cancer research. But I just wanted to bring that out, that he was an example of a true public servant, and he'll be missed. He supported the Harbor Management Commission, supported the legislative changes that we're talking about, and really an example for a lot of us. And I just wanted to mention that at the end of my talk. So that's it. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jeff. Any questions from the group for Jeff?
Jeff,
All right.
I was just going to say, this is Robert.
Oh, yeah.
We need a formal proposal from you on that request. That's how we get things going. Did you hear me?
Need a formal proposal for naming the marina.
That's how we get things started, yeah.
Okay. Is there a volunteer to do that? To amongst the commissioners?
Yeah,
Anybody want to write something?
Yeah, we could put something together for Tony.
Right. Because I think it should be presented to for the commission could vote if they agree with that, with that point of view, will be the way we handle that. Thank you, Jeff.
Robert, that's what we did with the Donovan Boating Center some years ago. It was a recommendation that the commission made to the mayor for the reasons expressed in the recommendation, and that led to the David S. Donovan Boating Center name.
Yeah, fine.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff. Moving right along, Commissioner Mangles.
All right. I'll try to make this quick.
Make it beautiful. Come on.
Yeah. Okay.
Get your audio visual skills going.
Yeah. That's all I needed. Today I nearly took a pretty major broadcaster off air. But I didn't. So that's okay. It was very stressful though. Okay, Dakwa. So we do have some repeat visitors coming in. They love it. There's a couple of reviews. Last year we did get that Anchor Award or something like that it's called because of the reviews. People are starting to know that Norwalk is a destination, and that's what we want. Not only do we want that, but we want them to go and visit Norwalk, see what we have to offer. The moorings, the online moorings. So as Harbor Master Lavallo stated, that we're going out looking around. We're going to notify people who have not put their moorings, their boats on the moorings in the last year or so. There is a provision in the mooring rules that if you don't put it in, it's considered abandoned unless you speak to the harbor master. It being the boat. Transient moorings, I have to give a huge thanks to Deputy Harbor Master Lee, who's also an officer, police officer, and Officer Figueroa, and Harbor Master Lavallo, who went out to the transient moorings by Sheffield and reminded them politely that those moorings are not free, that they have to try to pay. Now I get it that there is, you know, I'm only here for an hour or whatever. I understand that, you know, that it's easy to tie up. Maybe there's a way to get a lower rate or something, but really it's only $40, so it's not that bad.
You could electrify the ring on the mooring.
Yeah, you know, the mooring, the mooring that we sank in the Inner Harbor was around, you know, $2,800, whatever it was. So they are expensive. And speaking of that, we got the new floats were received and they were installed. So those were the floats that were from Gilman. Those are the ones that are the barrel type of floats, not the ball type of floats, and they are labeled reserved via DACWA, Norwalk Transient Mooring, you know, number 1, 2, 3, 4, or SH 1, 2, 3, 4. And SH is for Sheffield. So we could do that. The Harbor Master boat, as Harbor Master Lavallo stated, that it's going to need a prop, and then while we get the new prop, we will have the old prop reworked, and then we'll have a spare. So that's a good thing. It still needs to get hauled and painted. Norm Edwards of Edwards Marine is going to be doing that work. He is on vacation, I believe. So harbor safety and island safety. So I can't tell you how glad I was to be sunburnt on Sunday. So Boy Scout troop went out to Shea Island on July 20th, 2025. That was Sunday. And it was also the beginning of Shark Week for Discovery Channel. What they did there is they cleaned the campsites. By cleaning, they weed whacked the tall brush. They cleaned out debris. They built multiple fire pits. They installed 2 leave no trace signs. They dig in holes, and I thought that it would be easy, but to do that, but it's pretty rocky in there. There was the removal of approximately 200 pounds of trash and debris, including a dinghy shell, a king-size comforter, which was mistaken as a mattress. That's how big it was.
Coolers chained to a tree.
Yeah, a cooler that was chained and locked to a tree. And thanks again to Deputy Harbor Master and Officer Lee. They had a bolt cutter that the scouts used to do that. And what did it take to do all of this work? It took 45 scouts plus their parents. The transporters included Harbor Master Lavallo, myself, 4 Marine unit personnel, which is Sergeant Basigli, Officer and Deputy Harbor Master Lee, Officers Figueroa and Mitchell. Without their assistance, this would have taken a lot longer. I only have a 20-foot boat, and it would have, and the Harbor Master boat is what, 23 or something. To move that many people would have been quite a bit of time. Both the large and the smaller Marine unit vessels were used. Harbor Master vessel was used, and my vessel was used to transport the troop and equipment. It was a total success, and the momentum needs to continue with continued projects like this. There were 3 visitors at the island that day when the troop was there, and they personally went up and thanked the troop for taking on the project, and stated that and I'm a witness to this, they had stated that to the troop and the leader of the project, that they go to the island every weekend, and they had a small family, couple of small kids, and every weekend, and that they have never seen it look so good. And this just shows how working together allows great things to happen. So I have to thank Recreation and Parks Ken Hughes, Robert Stowers, thank you. Norwalk Police Marine Unit, Sergeant Basigli, Officer, and Deputy Harbor Master Lee, and Officers Figueroa and Mitchell, as well as Harbor Master Lavallo. And if you think the prop is bad, you should see the clam that he hit. But it was a job well done by the Boy Scout who was going for his Eagle Scout ranking. His name is Jamie Cohen, who led the project for his Eagle Scout ranking, and he had a plan. The scouts that were there, including 2 girls, I don't know if they were part of the scouts or just family members or something. They went right in and before jumping right off of my boat, they grabbed bags and started picking up trash. It was just something to say. It was fantastic. I do believe that the buoys over at Green's Ledge are up. If those pictures are correct, can Officer Deputy Harbor Master Lee confirm that?
Yeah, no, so all of the buoys are out. The only thing that's left is the remaining anchor and chain from the missing ball.
Okay. Did they locate the anchor and chain? It's big.
No.
Oh.
I placed a phone call to Chambro this afternoon, and they're gonna get back to me on what they're gonna do and how they're gonna see if they can locate it to remove it.
Fantastic. I also sent a letter of appreciation to Amelia to send to Jamie Cohen. I can read that for you if you'd like. It states, Dear Jamie, on behalf of the Norwalk Harbor Management Commission, I would like to extend my sincere congratulations and gratitude for the outstanding work you led on Shea Island on July 20, 2025 as part of your Eagle Scout project. Your planning, leadership, and organizational skills were evident from the start. The first boat pushed off the dock at 8:19 a.m. and in just 5 hours, you and the members of Boy Scout Troop 222, along with volunteers, transformed the island. Your team removed approximately 200 pounds of trash, including a dinghy shell and a chained and locked cooler, built safe fire pits, cleared campsites, and installed 2 new Leave No Trace signs. The logistical challenge of transporting 51 scouts and volunteers, because that's what it was, to the island was no small feat. With the invaluable assistance of the Norwalk Police Marine Unit and the Harbor Master, your coordination ensured that everyone had clearly defined tasks. The work was completed quickly, efficiently, and with precision, reflecting your exceptional leadership. The results have already been noticed. Other boaters on Shea Island commented that day that they had never seen the island look so good. Even more impressive, Troop 222 departed having truly followed Leave No Trace principles, leaving behind only a cleaner, safer, and more welcoming environment for future visitors. Your efforts embody the very best of scouting and serve as an outstanding example of environmental stewardship and community service. You should take great pride in what you and your troop accomplished, and the Norwalk Harbor Management Commission is proud to recognize your achievement. Sincerely, Jeffrey Mangles, Vice Chair of Norwalk Harbor Management Commission.
Jeff, that was
Thanks, Jeff.
very nice.
I just wanted to say, one of the things we are going to be developing in the coming year is a volunteer appreciation night where we'll have volunteers come in and this group, we would want to have them there as well. You know, we want to try and create a volunteer of the year or 2 or 3 volunteers a year, different categories. You know, since I've been here, you know, when I came here, I know we can't do. Parks department's never funded enough to do all the work that they have to do. And so volunteers are critical. They were critical when I was in Seattle. They're critical here. But we gotta give some appreciation to them as well. So you know, we're getting volunteers all over the place, working in our forest, our canopies, our dog parks. We have a new nonprofit that rose up, you know, and they're doing a good job. So we have the Friends of Cranberry Park. We have all you guys volunteering all the time. We've got to show some appreciation, and so that's what I'm looking to do.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I'm sure that they would appreciate it, and all volunteers. I mean, if you know, and the important thing here is that, you know, people who do this, they don't do it for recognition, right? So they just do it because that's what they want to do, you know.
Thank you, Jeff. You know,
That's the end of my report. That's it.
And thanks a lot to you for managing this project. It's it speaks so well for
Great job, Jeff.
No,
community.
I just gave them, you know, the resources, and really, you know, Ken and Robert and, you know, Recreation and Parks. I mean, it couldn't happen unless everyone said yes, go ahead and do it. And then to transport, I was in shock when I went to Vets Park that morning, and I think Owen in you know, not to quote a Jaws line, but we're going to need a bigger boat. So, and sure enough, a bigger boat came in, and we felt pretty good. So and it was good, and the transporting of the troops. So the larger boat had to stay, you know, further off island, and Harbor Master Lavallo, you know, would transport back and forth the troops from the large Marine unit vessel to the island. And it's amazing how many people don't realize that their feet are going to get wet. It's going to get wet. I've told them that. Wear junky shoes. You know, you're
just to add one thing. I realize how important it is, and I'm gonna step up my game. I'm gonna go out there and keep an eye on the islands between that one and Shimin Island. I know I received a couple complaints about some large crowds and garbage, so I'm going to be checking on the 2 islands to make sure people pick up after themselves, so it doesn't get that bad.
Yeah, thank you, Bruce. That's very important. I wouldn't mind getting together with you know, the Recreation Parks and the Harbor Commission and the Marine Police and Harbor Master Lavallo a little bit in the future to see how we can keep this effort going and maintain the work that's been done, but also get more of a volunteer presence to take care of some of these things regularly, because those islands are a tremendous resource when they're properly used, you know, when they're clean and they're presentable. And then it doesn't take long for them to go down the toilet with junk laid around. So I think this is a great start, Jeff, and you should be very, very proud of pulling this off and getting all these resources pulled together, because it was quite an achievement, and the pictures were wonderful. So thank you very much.
So I'm still trying to collect more pictures, and maybe next month I'll have a little slideshow of what was going on over there. In fact, I had another scout approach me to say that you know, are there other projects, and I'd like to do a project out here or on another island. And I said, of course, you know, give him Robert's direct line. There you go.
That's fine. I think I agree with Alan. I think we should keep this going, and you know, maybe we set up I don't know, ongoing system, or ongoing something, but maybe we have all get together, have a meeting and see how we can keep this going.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I loved it. I loved going out there. It
Also,
was great to see.
the Parks Department needs someone to sponsor, buy them a boat. We need a boat.
Need a boat. Okay.
We need a boat. And we need to find a company or somebody to give us a boat.
Or a really big drone,
Huh?
you know, really big drone.
Who's that?
Get a really big drone. You could fly people out there for the.
Oh, no, we need a boat.
Yeah.
We need a boat. You know, we need a boat. And got to figure out a way to get one, and I'm going to do that.
So Jeff,
Yeah.
any perhaps newsletter, our website or newsletter report that you can put together for that?
Sure, I can give you all the information. And in fact, Jamie Cohen, the Eagle Scout project, he has to send us a report. Send us. I'm a nobody, but you know,
the photos that you took would probably be good. Couldn't we display them on our website? No.
yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to get as many photos as possible. There's some pretty good ones. But Jamie has to send a report on what was done, and that has to get signed off by Recreation and Parks. And he said me, but I'm, like I said, I'm a nobody. I just work here, sort of volunteer, I guess.
You're a vice chair. Come on now.
The whole
Yeah.
show. So
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, I got to get out of here. So
Thanks, Robert.
Okay.
Appreciate
Thank you.
Thanks, Robert. You take care of yourself.
Hey, Jeff,
right,
I had
we
one quick question for you, just on
Sure.
the mooring side. I know I've been trying to stop throughout all the Sheffield ones and put the pennants in the holding area
Yeah,
of
me
those
too.
beautiful moorings as much as humanly possible. But when you mentioned that you were having some problems with people being on them, you know, with or without paying, stuff like that, is there a way for us to know like what is occupied or what is not, so that when I'm going by there a million different times and they're all full and yet only one's paid for the, you know what I mean?
Yeah, 99%. I thought that you were on the email chain or list from DACWA, but I can certainly give you a weekend report. Normally I give that to Owen, and you know, or Bruce or Owen say, okay, nobody's on Sheffield, and we have one person on you know, on number one in the Inner Harbor, or somebody's on 3 on the Inner Harbor.
Gotcha.
You know, and
okay.
so I do that so that they know what's going on. And from experience, Matt, not that you're not a nobody, but you're a nobody. It's like, hey, get off, you got to pay. Well,
Yeah.
who are you? You know, okay. We've had excuses. Oh, I didn't know. And it's right on the mooring. You can't miss it.
Oh, no,
Or-
I sent you those pictures. It couldn't be any better. I mean, it
Yeah.
looks just as good as the stuff up in Eggertown or Block. I mean, you can't miss it. I mean, it's funny, over at Sprite, my favorite thing is to put our boundary markers, and we put them with a cinder block. So as soon as the 38 Tierra pulls up and ties up to it, you know, they drift away. That's been an easy way to do it over the years, but not that effective
That's
for
sort of funny.
a sturdy mooring. But
ultimate.
anyways, I just want to try to help you out as much as we can, you know.
It's great. Wonderful.
Yeah. If you see somebody on there, you know, just give me a call and I'll let you know. You know, you have to send out the big boys. You know, you have to get, you know, Owen or Justin or Nelson out there, and they chase them off pretty quick. And it's not, or Bruce, you know, I mean, it's not even to like harass them. It's to inform them that, hey, look, it's not free. It costs money, you know, and if you like
100%.
these things here, then, you know, you're going to have to start stepping up. And that's
Jeff, can DACWA do any of this in real time? In other words, on like Matt's cell phone, so he can get a up to the minute, or Justin or Bruce.
Yeah, you just have to log on to.
Yeah,
you just have to log on to it.
I just got one tonight. I just got a hit on my phone tonight. that someone, a pending reservation.
What's super interesting is that the folks who we've kicked off of all of the kegs are like, if I would have known, I would have paid. And so, there's a bit of a learning curve. And I
Mhm.
think once we get that learning curve established, I mean, we're always going to have to kick people off of them. But once we get that learning curve established, I think it would start to increase.
Exactly. And spot check. When they know you're going to be out there spot checking, it'll change.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, you guys
Yeah.
have done such a great job overall. I mean, it's awesome. I mean, it's really impressive.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I enjoy doing that part of it. Yeah, and this island cleanup thing.
Not to extend the meeting, but I was out there. We had a catamaran on one of the inner harbor transit moorings, and they sailed up from Bermuda, and they saw the Dockwad Norwalk Harbor, and here they came. So it's working. It's getting out there and it's working.
That's right. And DACWA has a tremendous a website for transients to find where these moorings are. So that's if again, I travel by boat. I reserve a lot of DACWA moorings all along Long Island Sound, and it's really kind of a neat, tremendous service. They just do it on I do it off my phone, and I get instructed where the mooring is, and they automatically get it my credit card, and it's all done deal, and very, very simple. So thank you for doing this, Jeff. I think it's a real feather in your cap, and it really helps Norwalk be a better place for everybody. So thank you very much.
Yeah, the biggest issue is that they want to. I'm looking at that pending reservation. I just saw it, but they want to come in today.
Oh,
this is what happens. They come in and say, "Oh, we need to duck in. We didn't make as much headway as we could. So now I need a place to tie up." So I'll call them to see if they actually still need the spot. So I'll just send a message now and do that.
But what I will say, Jeff, is everybody loves the keg.
Yeah, I love the keg.
Not that one.
No. Yeah. So those kegs, they are fantastic.
Yeah, they're really awesome. A lot of the clubs have gone to those, and they're easy to pick up. They hold the pickup stick. I mean, it's all wonderful. Moving right along, finance. Chris is not here this evening, so we get a pass on that. I've already done Lori's plans and recreations. Anything on newsletter and website? Anything new there? Hearing nothing. Water quality is not active, and it will not become active until we have a new mayor. The new mayor will have to make appointments to that. So that's our agenda. Any new business anyone would like to bring up? If not, is there a motion?
We may be bringing someone from Recreation and Parks out to Shea. They want to see it. So tomorrow at noon-ish. So if anybody is floating around, they want to come out, we have room.
You
want to go for a ride?
Well, I can't. With 5-foot keel, I can't really be much help there.
No, yeah.
I can go by and blow my horn.
Are you going to be out or?
I'll be out.
Or,
yeah.
I mean, do you want to come on the Harbor Master boat?
I can't.
Oh, okay.
I can't. I have a date on the other side of the sound for dinner, so I'm
free clams. All you can eat.
Thanks.
Bruce will dig them up.
Is there any new business? Hearing none. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you all very much. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Fun meeting.
Thanks all.
Thank you.
Take care,
Great
everybody.
night.
Thank you, Amelia.
Thanks, Amelia.
Thank you guys. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Take care.